Hey everybody. So, the last few games I've played have been a bit depressing. Furthering the plans of an alien, suicide, your girlfriend becoming your mom. Ugh. I need a game that'll cheer me up. Something bright and colorful. Something that, just by looking at the cover, you can tell is going to have a happy ending. Alright, let's see what I have here. Dewey's Adventure, De Blob, Munchables, and Klonoa. Yeah, I remember. I bought this game because it came with the guy's hat. Originally for the PS1, but I have the Wii remake. Yeah, look how colorful and happy everything is. There's no way this game could end poorly. It's got too many obvious positives. Let's get going with Klonoa. Even the game is excited to be played.
The game takes place in the world of Phantom Isle, a place created from dreams. The game starts off with a cutscene of Klonoa talking about where forgotten dreams go. A magic ring falls from the sky, and when Klonoa investigates it, he meets...
Oh jeez!
Hupo, a bubble with anime eyes. They start to play, but then something else falls from the sky, and the world gets dark. Then all of a sudden, Klonoa wakes up. It was all a dream?
Klonoa?
Oh, it's real. It's not a dream.
But then something actually does fall from the sky. I think. I don't know. The line between what is and isn't real seems to be very thin in this game. I wouldn't be surprised to find out this game was the basis for Inception. So Klonoa and Hupo decide to investigate what crashed into the hill, and the first level begins. The game is a 2D platformer in a 3D world, which is cool because it means you can interact with things in the background, and even change your direction to go toward the Z-axis at certain parts of some levels. Each level has dream crystals scattered about them, and collecting 100 will give you an extra life. On occasion, you can find mirror fairies, which will double the value of dream crystals for a few seconds. There are also 6 captured villagers in each level. I don't think rescuing them has any effect on the story of the game, but the villagers you save play extra music on the level select screen, which is a nice touch. Anime Bubble Hupo over here is a ring spirit that comes from the ring, which grants Klonoa the ability to shoot a wind bullet at enemies, which inflates them and pulls them to Klonoa. Klonoa can then throw the inflated enemy to defeat other enemies. He can throw the enemy to activate switches, or throw the enemy downward to ascend a little higher. Kinda like how Mario can with Yoshi, only you don't feel guilty about it. Klonoa also has the ability to float, which is, as I like to call it, just useless enough. Most of the time, this will not save you. But about 1 out of every 7 tries, you'll get lucky and it will get you to where you need to be. So on the way up, Klonoa and Hupo run into Baloo, who is concerned for his statue of Laphise.
Laphise? Wait a minute. You don't know who she is? She's the songstress who sings the song of rebirth.
Never heard of her.
You kids today got no culture.
With your rap music and your parachute pants.
Upon reaching the top of the hill, we are introduced to the main villain, Lord Gaudius, who at certain shots looks like a humanized panda, and his right-hand man, Joker. Gaudius kidnaps Laphise to stop her from singing so he can destroy the world.
Okay.
Hupo talks aloud when they are right under the villains. Literally, look at this scene. And they get noticed. Surprise, surprise. Hupo continues to ask questions about the villains, out loud, within earshot.
So far, Hupo, not a good first impression. Although Joker's kind of an idiot, too.
Now then, little mousies, come out, wherever you are!
They're right in front of you. You're looking at them.
Guess we don't have any choice.
You could run back inside. The tunnel's right there.
But Klonoa and Hupo decide to fight Joker.
Children these days simply have no manners.
With your Windows Vista and your Kids Pop 28.
In a stereotypical bad guy fashion, Joker gets other weaker creatures to fight you, rather than just defeating you himself right here, right now. He then proceeds to indirectly tell you how to defeat it.
Oh, and Rango-Lango, make sure you watch out for your backside!
Wait a minute. Is this a game for kids? Oh gosh, the boss attacks with rainbows. I think this is a game for kids.
After beating the lizard, Klonoa and Hupo find a pendant and decide to ask Grandpa Exposition if he knows anything. Gramps tells them it comes from the fabled Moon Kingdom, which is a kingdom on the moon. and that they should seek the chiefess of the forest for more information. They get stopped by the forest natives who speak in an annoying broken English and are way too trusting.
Who you be, intruders?
Whoa, wait a minute!
I sorry. Lately strangers. Forest.
They are strangers.
Strangers in the forest?
You know, like you.
They try to reach the chiefess but are unable to due to the water they rely on for transportation being dried up. So they decide to go to the water kingdom of Jugpot.
I couldn't even think of a joke for that one. I tried. Couldn't think of a joke.
On the suspicion that the king is in trouble. Once they get to Jugpot, they rescue a fish that has been imprisoned. The fish, named Coral, tells them that some people have recently come to Jugpot and caused trouble.
I'll bet that was Gaudius.
Maybe. I mean, could have been something else. Barbarians, a rivaling royal family. I mean, civil war, unrest amongst the people. I mean, not everything has to be directly caused by the bad guy, you know.
Coral asks you to enter the castle and save her mother.
She's probably been brainwashed or something.
What is the context for that? You have no way of knowing that. Why do you immediately jump to brainwashing, Hupo?
Klonoa and Hupo enter Jugpot Castle to find that the king and Coral's mother have been...
Oh my gosh, brainwashed. Does Hupo just have the power of whatever asinine thing comes out of his mouth to be true? Is that his ability? I want that.
So they save the king, return the flow of water back to normal, and decide to go back to the forest to talk to the chiefess. The guard lets them into the chiefess's home because, again, these guards are way too trusting.
What? You people also try capture chiefess?
No, we just want to talk.
Then, all right.
All right? All right! Yeah, okay, I bet if I just waltzed up to the White House, knocked on the door, and said, "Hey, Secret Service, can I just talk? I just want to talk to the president. Can you just let me do that?" I'm sure they'd say, "Oh, sure, all right, we'll just let you through. Stranger we've never seen we have no idea what he could be doing. Sure, let's let him through."
Klonoa and Hupo go through the chiefess's clockwork treehouse dungeon and find that Joker is holding her hostage.
If you don't start cooperating, I'm going to make things very uncomfortable for you.
Not uncomfortable! Do what he says, Chiefess. Do what he says!
Joker gets yet another monster to fight you instead of himself, and of course reveals how to beat it.
Gelg boom! Watch out for attacks from above!
But you beat the monster and save the chiefess.
Anyway, you saved me. Have my thanks.
Annoying when speak this way.
The chiefess tells them that the moon pendant is a key that can summon the Moon Kingdom, and that they must use the pendant in an altar in the Temple of the Sun to get to the Moon Kingdom.
Okay.
But apparently the Temple of the Sun floats in the sky, so Klonoa and Hupo have no idea how to get to it. Chiefess Exposition asks them who has the pendant. When they reveal it's Gramps, Joker, who is eavesdropping, decides to go get it himself.
Joker!
Listening in on people is cheating.
Hupo, he's the bad guy. Of course he's going to cheat. And you were listening in on him and Guidus at the start of the game, so don't you act all high and mighty.
Klonoa and Hupo race home to save Grandpa from trouble.
Make it back safely.
We sure did, Gramps.
But then Joker shows up, and...
Grandpa!
Grandpa? What the heck, game? You're supposed to be a bright and happy kids game. I'm playing you to feel better, not to watch laser grandpa murder.
So Klonoa and Hupo try to confront Joker, who of course sends another lackey to fight the duo. I actually really like the fight with this boss. You're on a wooden bridge that swings forward and backward. You have to avoid obstacles and grab enemies so you can throw them into the colored jewels on the boss's hood to damage him. It's more interesting than all the other boss fights so far. You beat the boss, and Klonoa grieves over his loss. The two wonder how they're going to reach the Temple of the Sun, but then plot happens and it's conveniently revealed that Coral's mom can fly. They ride to the temple as Klonoa seems to get over the death of his grandfather pretty darn quick.
Jeez, Klonoa. I know this is just a game, but gosh, I care more about this than you do.
They get to the Temple of the Sun and meet what I assume are penguins. And let me tell you, the sass is real from this Solel guy.
Huh? We've been waiting for you.
Took you long enough.
Oh, burn! I want this guy. Can I get this guy? Can I get Sassy Penguin instead of Hupo? Please? 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 Please?
I like this level a lot too. It's divided into 4 areas and you have to navigate treacherous terrain to retrieve an orb. Once all 4 orbs have been brought back to the start, you can open the door to the altar. It's a nice little break from all the other levels of the game, which are just go forward. So after getting the door open, the Penguin Priest tells you that Gaudius is causing an eclipse to happen and that he's the King of Darkness and blah blah, seeks revenge. We've heard it 100 times.
Basically, he's Mr. Big Bad himself.
Please, I don't want Hupo. Just let me have this penguin guy.
Upon reaching the altar, Klonoa helps the High Priest, who tells him that the Moon Kingdom is responsible for creating Phantomile from the dreams of people in a lower world. The High Priest then reluctantly lets them through, which I don't understand why he even had to weigh his options.
We have to stop Gaudius.
All right. I'll let you two give it a try.
Let these two try to save the world? Everybody dies. I guess I can let them through.
It's revealed that Gaudius is weak to light, so he's causing an eclipse to block out the sun so there will be no light to fight him. Which, as far as villain plans go, is actually a pretty good idea. This gives reason for the next level, another gimmick one which I really like. The level constantly changes from light to dark every few seconds. During the light periods, the game plays as normal, but in the dark, enemies are invincible, can't be inflated, and special platforms appear. It's one of the tougher levels, but a nice touch nonetheless. Upon reaching the top of the altar, they find Gaudius and Joker waiting for them.
Gaudius, just what is it you're planning on doing?
What are you planning? He wants to destroy the world! He said at the beginning of the game, Hupo, you were there!
Gaudius reveals that he still has Laphis, and that he's going to the Moon Kingdom and will use the Egg of Destruction, which, no, we haven't heard anything about so far, to destroy everything.
I feel like they're making up the story for the game as they go along, like they didn't pre-plan this. It's a bad fanfic.
Joker finally decides to stop using lackeys and fights you himself. For some reason, Joker's voice is also a lot deeper in this scene.
It's time you children learned one final lesson.
The fight with Joker is really fun.
When the story gets worse, the gameplay gets better.
You fight Joker on a suspended ring. The fight has 2 phases. In Phase 1, Joker spins his hands around himself and walks along the ring to try and punch you. You have to hit him with an enemy so it hits him and not his fists, which will deflect incoming enemies. Once he's been hit a few times, he transforms and attacks you with various slashing attacks. This phase also has the darkness element from the previous level, so the enemies walking around are invincible. To get him out of this phase, you have to step on every block of the ring to get them to change color from purple to blue to green to yellow. Once all the blocks are back to yellow, he goes back to Phase 1. It's a pretty simple concept, but is still really challenging. Joker says his last words, and then explodes. Gaudius uses the Moon Pendant to reawaken the Moon Kingdom, which spreads nightmare energy? Because that's a thing? Also, why is the Moon Kingdom coming out of the ground? Wouldn't a Moon Kingdom make sense to be, I don't know, on the moon? You take the flying fish to the Moon Kingdom. On arriving, Klonoa notices that Hupo seems a bit off, but they ignore it and move on. They meet up with some humans who inform Hupo that Gaudius has taken over the kingdom.
A twist worthy of Shyamalan himself.
Hupo reveals that he is the prince of the Moon Kingdom who disguised himself as a ring spirit. He promises to explain later, and Klonoa is okay with the fact that Hupo has been lying to him for years.
You're a better man than me, Klonoa.
Wait a second, hold on. The opening scene shows Hupo's ring falling from the sky, but the Moon Kingdom was underground.
A twist worthy of Shyamalan himself.
After completing the final 2 levels, Klonoa goes to face Gaudius, who is busy talking about Nahatum, the Nightmare Crystal.
And yes, this is the first time we're hearing about it. Just making it up as you go.
And that the only thing that could stop Gaudius is the strange dream. Gaudius wants to end the world because he's a nightmare, and nightmares are bad, and dreams are good, The fight with Gaudius is disappointingly easy. He attacks with bubbles? Because that's what evil things do, I guess? You just pick up enemies and throw them at him. He has one attack where he makes an electric triangle that he directs at you, but it's super easy to avoid, and if you grab one of the points, enemies fall out, allowing you to hit him. It's just a very disappointing fight for the main villain. After beating Gaudius, all the characters you've come to know and love join you to congratulate you on your victory. Like Baloo, and the Chiefess, and the High Priest we saw for like 10 seconds.
You know, your best pals!
Everyone rejoices, and Hupo makes the comment that it's finally over, which of course means it's not finally over. Gaudius uses his remaining strength to bring Nahatum to life. Hupo reveals that Klonoa is the strange dream, and that Nahatum will be targeting him during the fight. Hupo's mother reveals that they can stop Nahatum with the power of the moon cannons. The final fight against Nahatum is also broken into different segments. At first, he'll spawn armored enemies which you won't be able to grab and just have to avoid. After he does a type of shockwave attack, the enemies will lose their armor and can then be thrown to your allies to ready their moon cannon. Nahatum can also whip his tongue out to try and chomp on you for a bit. It's a difficult fight made worse by your allies constantly floating up and down, which makes them very easy to miss when trying to hand them an enemy. Once you have all the cannons loaded, they fire on Nahatum, who proceeds to eat you. Then you have to fight Nahatum's face inside him?
Why am I still surprised? After everything we've gone through, why am I still surprised?
He fires beams out of his eyes while you fight him on a rocking, icy platform. You have to grab an enemy and throw it into the 4 crystals in the background. Then you have to hit a moving one, but meh. It's not difficult, just annoying. You then get thrown out of Nahatum, who, oh man, has had a bit of a cosmetic change. This phase is similar to the first one, but this time the moon cannons are below you and you have to throw the enemies downward into the cannon as they pass. Nahatum can destroy platforms, fire meteors, and attack with rainbows.
Final boss, ladies and gentlemen. The being of pure nightmare, pure darkness, attacks with rainbows. Attacks with rainbows.
The cannons fire on Nahatum again, and Hupo says to fire him at Nahatum.
I'm finally rid of Hupo!
Nahatum explodes and Lafis is freed. Hupo's okay, though. The world is saved and everything goes back to normal.
And that's Klonoa, everybody!
I'm not sure who the target audience is for this game. Aside from being oddly dark at times, the game feels very light-hearted, which makes me feel like it's a kid's game. The villains feel like they came out of a Saturday morning cartoon series. Joker is powerful, but still incompetent enough to give the heroes a try.
I need you to hide all the keys to the doors, understood?
Or, you could just destroy them.
And before you actually fight him, Klonoa repeatedly flicks him away in a comical fashion. With that said, though, some levels are very difficult. I got stuck a few times trying to figure out how to solve certain puzzles, and saving all the citizens each level isn't an easy feat. It's one that I don't think kids would have the patience for.
It's not the greatest game I've ever played, but I wanted something fun and lighthearted, and Klonoa delivered on that. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.
Listen, Klonoa. I have to tell you something. You see, you really don't exist in this world.
Wait, what did he say?
Lafis sings her song so the world can be reborn. You won't be able to stay in this world anymore.
No way! I'm not going anywhere, and nobody's gonna make me go! Whoa! Huh?